Good morning. I am Stacy Dawson with the Washington County OSU Extension Office. I'm the FCS educator over there. For those of you who've been following along, or for those of you who are new, we've been doing a series on healthy living, getting healthy, and just ways to stay healthy throughout our lives. And you can go back and watch some of our previous videos. But if you're picking up with us today we're going to work on a lesson that's called Humor Has It. And we're going to talk about the benefits of laughter and why laughter is good for us and how humor can be good for us overall. So with that, we are going to go ahead and get started. Oh, excuse me. And we're going to talk about a few things, things that my mother taught me. My mother taught me to appreciate a job well done. She used to tell us, if you're going to kill each other, at least do it outside. I just finished cleaning. My mother taught me religion. She said, you better pray that will come out of my carpet. My mother taught me time travel. She said, if you don't straighten up, I'm going to knock you into next week. My mother taught me logic. Her favorite saying was because I said so. Now, I will be very honest with you. I never understood the phrase because I said so until part of my job entailed me working with youth. And about the 15th question from one of my kids, they said the phrase came out because I said so. And I thought, oh, now there's something to this phrase. My mother also taught me foresight. She would say, make sure you wear clean underwear in case you're in an accident. My mother taught me irony. She would say, keep crying and I'll give you something to cry about. My mother also taught me about the science of osmosis. She would say, shut your mouth and eat your supper. My mother also taught me about contortionism. She would say, will you look at that dirt on the back of your neck? Things to think about. My mother also taught me stamina. When she would say, you're going to sit there till that dinner is gone. My mother also taught me about the weather. She said, this room looks like a tornado went through it. My mother also taught me about physics problems. If I yelled because if I yelled because I saw a meteor coming towards you, would you listen then? My mother also taught me about hypocrisy. If I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. Don't exaggerate, Mom. My mother also taught me about the circle of life. She would say, I brought you into this world and I will take you out. My mother taught me about behavior modification. Stop acting like your father, she would say. My mother taught me about envy. There are millions less fortunate children in the world who don't have wonderful parents like you do. Thanks, Mom, for all those lessons. So now that we've had a good laugh and you've started thinking about some things and you probably think of some things your mom taught you, you're starting to laugh, you're starting to giggle. So let's get into some more about that. There are 5 different types of laughter. The first is etiquette laughter. At the end of a long day, you find yourself in an elevator with your boss. Instead of talking up your latest accomplishments, however, you find yourself laughing at everything he says. Getting along with others sometimes becomes the priority as a simple way of communicating and showing agreement. Being polite, laughing, maybe it's not always funny, but it's out of respect. It's out of etiquette. It's your boss. Sometimes things are funny because it's your boss, whether they're funny or not. Then there's nervous laughter. I think we're all a little prone to this one sometimes. I know things are funnier when I'm nervous because sometimes I don't know what else to do. But nervous laughter is during times of stress and anxiety. We often laugh as a subconscious attempt to reduce stress and calm down. However, nervous laughter usually just heightens the awkwardness of a situation. It has been known as the fake laughter. Like I said, I've been known to do that, and it does make the situation a little more uncomfortable from time to time. Then we have pigeon laughter. Pigeon laughter, this is sort of laughter that involves laughing without opening your mouth, and usually is practiced in laughter therapy or in yoga. It usually occurs when something happens that's not particularly funny to the target person, but it's amusing to others. By keeping your lips sealed, the laughter produces a humming sound, much like the noise a pigeon makes. So when we go, sometimes that can be taken sarcastic. Sometimes mine comes out very sarcastic when I do that. But that is what a pigeon laughter is more like. Then there's the silent laughter. This type of laughter works if you're trying not to cause a scene or concerned with waking others. Freeze your face into a smile like the Joker, and then let out your belly and let your belly do the work of pushing the air in and out, just as if you were laughing out loud. And then there is the belly laughter. This type of laughter is considered the most honest and maybe the hardest type to experience, because we have to find something absolutely hilarious before we let go. Men usually let go with a grunt or a snort, while women usually let loose with giggles or chuckles. Um, Unless you just think it's really funny, then we may snort too. I've been known to snort a time or two in my life. Um, so how are age and humor related? What may be funny to some is not funny to others. Obvious difference affects us in what we find funny. Age appears to be the most significant of these. Infants and children are discovering the world around them, as a lot of what goes on around them seems ridiculous and surprising. This strikes them to be funny. So when we're making faces at them and sticking our tongue out at them and cooing and oohing and awing, this looks pretty funny. It looks pretty funny from an adult perspective too, but to them it's very funny. Their requirement is usually short and simple concepts, and oddly enough, they appreciate jokes with where cruelty is present or toilet humor ones. This is because they're developing um, their self-assertiveness and their fascination with bodily functions in normal for them in exploration. As a preteen or a teenager, those years can be awkward and tense. Their humor can be a more rebellious style. Many adolescents focus on jokes centering around sex, food, and figures of authority, and it can be used as a protective tool to help them feel superior. So I think sometimes working with kids or sometimes being around kids, we catch them making jokes about things that might be inappropriate or might not be exactly what we would hope for, just because they want to feel cool or they want to feel included maybe. So they make jokes about things that maybe they're not actually comfortable talking about. Maybe it's not something that their parents would probably approve, but just to make them feel better or make them, protect them, because maybe it's a protective thing, maybe it's a defense mechanism to make those jokes. So that is a little different for them. As we mature in our physical bodies and mental outlook change, so does our sense of humor. We tend to laugh more at the issue that stresses us out. There's an intelligence often included in getting a joke. Our sense of humor evolves. We can laugh at other people in situations where we can relate from our own experiences. So sometimes we can be like, oh yeah, been there, done that before. And the adult sense of humor is usually more subtle, tolerant, and less judgmental towards other people. We seem to be aware that our humor has changed, as we have been growing up, and that what seemed funny before is no longer funny. Here are some facts about laughter. Less than 20% of laughter is related to jokes. People are more likely to laugh in groups than when they're alone. Women laugh more often than men. Most laughter is in the context of regular conversation rather than an attempt to stimulate laughs. Speakers laugh more than the listeners. Males are leading producers of human, while females are the leading laughers. Laughter produces activities in the cells that attack viruses and tumor cells. Hence, frequent laughers are healthier than frequent frowners. There are 72 muscles that it takes to frown and only 14 to laugh. Hence, laughers look younger than frowners. Bad feelings lead to bad habits. People with bad feelings frown more and laugh less. People who look at the bright side of things laugh more often and are healthier. Laughing is contagious. And lastly, those who laugh or smile make others laugh or smile. So here are some health benefits to laughter. We talked about it's going to make us look younger. We like that. We like to look younger. We don't want them frown lines. We want them smile lines. Laughter relaxes your whole body. A good hearty laugh relieves physical tension and stress, leaving your muscles relaxed for up to 45 minutes after. Laughter boosts your immune system. Laughter decreases stress hormones and increases immune cells and infection fighting antibodies, thus improving your resistance to disease. Laughter triggers the release of endorphins, the body's natural feel-good chemical. Endorphins promote an overall sense of well-being and can even temporarily relieve pain. Laughter protects your heart. Laughter improves the function of blood vessels and increases blood flow, which can help protect us against a heart attack or other cardiovascular problems. We like to hear that. Laughter burns calories. We really like to hear when we can burn calories doing something. Okay, so it's no replacement for going to the gym, to be honest, but one study found that laughing for 10 to 15 minutes a day can burn approximately 40 calories, which could be enough to lose 3 or 4 pounds over the course of a year. We like weight loss. We like to hear that. Laughter lightens anger's heavy load. Nothing diffuses anger and conflict faster than a shared laugh. Looking at the funny side can put problems into perspective and enable you to move from confrontations without holding on to bitterness or resentment. Because I'll just tell you, bitterness and resentment seems to age people too. I think, when you see those people who are bitter and they have resentment, they're unhappy, they seem miserable, and sometimes you can see it take its toll on them. So we won't be happy. We won't be angry. We won't be happy. Laughter may even help you live longer. A study in Norway found that people with a strong sense of humor outlived those who didn't laugh as much. The difference was particularly notable for those battling cancer. So, the physical benefits for laughter: it boosts your immunity, it lowers your stress hormones, it decreases pain, relaxes your muscles, and prevents heart disease. The mental benefits that you get: it adds joy and zest to your life. It eases your anxiety and tension. It relieves stress. It improves your mood, and it strengthens resilience. The social benefit: it strengthens relationships. It attracts others to us. It enhances teamwork, helps diffuse conflict, and promotes group bonding. So that one's really good because if we really think about that, we don't want to approach somebody who can't take a joke or doesn't have a sense of humor or isn't able to laugh. They're just not as approachable. So those are just some of the social benefits that we can get from that as well. Ways to enhance your sense of humor: first, regain your smile. A smile and a laugh aren't the same thing, but they do live in the same neighborhood. Treat yourself to a comedy festival. Watch your favorite movie and reward yourself with the gift of laughter. Recall several of the most embarrassing moments of your life. Then find the humor in them. By revealing vulnerable moments, you open yourself up much more to humorous aspects of life. It's okay to laugh at yourself. It may not have been funny 10 years ago, but by now you can probably find the humor in it. I know I look back at things and I'm like, oh, what was I thinking? But now it's funny and it's okay. Just go ahead and laugh at yourself. Anytime something annoys you and frustration occurs, turn it around and find the humor. Think about it as though it happened to someone else. Laugh at them, then laugh at yourself. Also, read the comics every day and cut out the ones that remind you of your life. Surround yourself with humor. Sort through family photographs and write funny captions. When you need a pick me up, pull them out of the album and read them. Every night at dinner, have family members share one funny or even embarrassing moment of the day. I know at Sunday dinner, now that I'm a little older, we have Sunday dinner with my parents every week. And one of the things that we do pretty regularly, and it's not out of intention or anything, it just happens, is that those stories come up and we start telling stories on each other, on ourselves, and sometimes we laugh so much that my ribs hurt. So those are, and those are ways that we're making memories with my family too. So share those moments, bring back those memories and laugh about them. When a person offends you or makes you angry, respond with humor rather than hostility. Life is too short to turn every conflict into a battle. Unfortunately, some should be taken seriously, but for occasional troubles, use humor as a response. Check out the top 10 list archives from David Letterman or recap excerpts from your favorite comedian or sitcom. Spend 15 minutes a day having a giggling session. Start with a small group of friends or relatives, with each one with their head, with your friends or relatives, with each one with their head on the other's stomach. The first person says, ha, the next person says, ha ha, and so on until everyone is laughing. Find out what fun-related activities are going on in your newspaper, on the radio, wherever, and attend them. Let a professional help with your sense of humor. Add an item to your daily to-do list. Find something humorous and don't mark it off until it's done. Just like dusting. This one doesn't apply to me. I don't like to dust. So sometimes I'm like, yeah, I did that one. So, but don't mark it off till it's done. Make sure it's done. Don't just write it off and be like, well, it was on the list and I kind of did it. Make sure you do it. When you run into friends, ask them to tell you one funny thing that has happened to them in the past couple of weeks. Maybe it will discourage the topic of gossiping in the conversation, because sometimes we all have those people that all they want to do is gossip and you just don't want to hear it, because sometimes that can bring you down as well. Find a humor buddy, someone who will not only listen to your stories, but will share their funny escapades too. Exaggerate and overstate the problem. I have friends that tell me I'm really good at being dramatic, so I might be good at this one. Making the situation bigger than life can help us to regain a humorous perspective. Develop a silly routine to break a dark mood. Change your accent or use Pig Latin and check out their response. Sometimes that's fun to just make a fake accent for a minute. It just gives you a giggle and you get to move on. Create a humor environment. Surround yourself with witty signs and saying and share the humor. So put signs up in your office or around your house, just those little things, just those little, I call them dust collectors, I'll be honest. But just put those up somewhere or write them on a sticky note and stick them to your computer so that you see them every day. Experiment with jokes. Learn a simple joke each week and spread it around, such as, what do you call a line of rabbits walking backwards? A receding hairline. Focus humor on yourself. Show people that you take yourself lightly in some areas, that you're not always stiff and stuffy, you're not always business all the time, that you can have fun, that you can be light, that you are easy to be around. So focus in on yourself. Here's some quotes on laughter. If taking vitamins doesn't keep you healthy enough, try more laughter. The most wasted of all days is that on which one has not laughed. Laughter is a tranquilizer with no side effects. Laughter is part of the human survival kit. The best blush to use is laughter. It puts roses on your cheeks and on your soul. At the height of laughter, the universe is flung into a kaleidoscope of new possibilities. Laughter is the most healthful exertion. 7 days without laughter makes one weak. Laughter is an instant vacation. Just remember that laughter is the only language that everyone understands. I hope that this has been helpful. I hope that this has encouraged you to find humor in your everyday life, find humor in what you do, find humor in your experiences, and gets you out laughing, because laughing is one of the best things that we can do for ourselves. It just has so many benefits to it. And so I hope that every day you'll take a few minutes to laugh, or to think of a memory that makes you laugh, or to share with others and just have a good laugh. So just want to say thank you all for joining us, and I will see you in a couple of weeks with our next lesson.